it all came about.
I gotta keep myself in whiskey and cigarettes, man. That's life, you know. uh, busy, yeah, busy. I just always jumping from one project to the other. I actually was working on my solo album, and Jim Matheos contacted me and asked if I was interested in working on some new music with him, and I said, "Sure, send me the music. Let's see what it's all about." And I was really excited to be able to work with Jim again, because we figured we weren't really going to do any more Fates Warning albums. So when he asked to work on a project with him, I jumped at the chance. Of course, I love working with him. He's my friend. He's my brother.
Yeah,
and I loved the music. I thought it was really cool, something different. Of course, and I always. I love singing. It's my job, and I love singing different styles, different music, and I thought it was time to do something like this, really quiet and really sort of, I don't know, meaningful, ambient sort of stuff. So yeah, I really liked it. Sadly.
Well, I guess thus far you've released two tracks off the album. The first single being Open Book and the second Unmoved. Is this a clear representation of the album, if you like?
I think so. It does move around a bit. There's some heavier songs we didn't release yet. It was always a kind of, a decision-making process. Like, what songs do we release first? We don't really didn't want to release a heavy one and give the wrong make people think that, okay, the album's going to be heavy, and we don't want to release the more quiet ones, because there's actually songs that are quieter than Unmoved. So it was a hard decision to make, to what songs to release first, but these are the two that we thought would come out, and the next one will be Empty, one of the heavier ones. Yeah, that's I think it's a pretty clear representation. The song is the album itself is really quiet, very ambient, very atmospheric, a lot of electronic drums and electronics in general. So I think it's a pretty fair representation. Yeah, I think so.
Are we dealing with a conceptual album, or is it just stories with general theme? Or
yeah, just different subjects here and there, all kinds of different things. There's one about a wanderer, happy being alone, just being by himself is happy. There's one about a person who has a sort of psychotic break and hears voices and he's on a mission to save the world. There's different stories. Some deal with people hiding their depression. Songs about our youth and grow and past, present, and future, sort of. So it's all different. It kind of goes all over the place.
Now the album has 10 songs. What is your favorite and why?
Favorite? I don't know. I really like. There's a song called "The Mission," which is the one about the guy who has the episode. Just because it wasn't going to be included on the album. There were 9 songs originally, and once the album was finished, I think maybe a week or two, Jim contacted me and said that he thought the album was too short. Because at first we both agreed, like, it's fine the way it is. And then he said, I think it's just too short. And we did have that last song that we just didn't use for the album. The song was completely written and finished. Music wise, I just didn't write anything to it. So he said, yeah, well, let's add that song. All right. So I started to work on it, and I didn't know if it would fit, because it was such an up-tempo song, and it just kind of didn't fit. It's had a sort of almost a Depeche Mode kind of vibe to it. So I started working on it, and ended up being one of my favorite songs, and it made its way onto the album, and I'm really happy that it did, because it kind of breaks everything up. Again, everything, different tempos, of course, but this one is very up-tempo compared to the rest. and it's just I think it came out great. I ended up doing a video for it, and so yeah, I think it's going to be one of the last videos to be released. There's 5 videos for this album, which is pretty crazy. I mean, it's more than Fates Warning ever did.
Well, yes. I guess from a lyrical standpoint, are you the main lyricist on the album, or is it a shared?
I'm the only lyricist.
The only. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of stress. Yeah.
Well, so were a lot of the lyrics pre-written, or and was it a case of just bringing them into the project, or were they lyrics that were on just project specific on the spot?
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't really write when I'm not working. I don't really write poetry or anything. So whenever a song comes around, I'll start working on it, and then I'll figure out the melody, and then I'll start working on the lyrics. Whatever the song makes me think of, I think it fits with the music, I'll write about that. So yeah, I wish I was one of those guys that had just open my lyric book and see what happens. But no, I don't think that far ahead. No.
Were there any guest musicians on the album?
There was the drummer Gunnar Olsen. He plays with Pucifer. He actually played the drums on a couple of tracks. And a keyboard player, and I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. I should look that up. He did a couple of little things here and there. I think maybe one song. Other than that, no. It's just Jim played everything. He played all the synths. He played the guitars, the bass, electronics. He programmed the drums. Yeah, Jim did all the music. I just sang and wrote lyrics. That's all I did.
So I take it the recording process would have been similar to your previous recordings, whereby you're recording in Spain, sending files across.
Yeah. Not very organic, but it's the way we've worked forever, and we're so used to it now at this point. There's always that time difference that's kind of the problem, but once we're on the same schedule and everything works out, it's just basically you're in the same room, just a phone call or a Skype away, just to figure it out.
And I take it this time you're not sleeping in the vocal booth.
No, no, I'm home now. Everything's fine here. There's another a slight outbreak, I guess, in Spain, but nothing big, nothing at all like it was 3 years ago. Is that 3 years ago already?
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Everything's fine now. Now I'm recording at home. Everything's great. Yeah, the last time that happened, I had to go to an actual studio. I record everything at home now, so it's nice. It's very nice.
So I take it you're across the the technical side of things. You probably know the DAW that you're using sort of back to front now, yeah, when it comes to laying down your tracks and getting all that crap ready.
Still learning, man. I'm still learning. It's just, for me, I've never been like tech savvy, or I'm the guy that's so many years in the studio. I just sing, and I have a producer and an engineer in the other room doing everything. So for me, it's for me, it's pretty difficult. Like punching in, it used to be so easy because they just say, "Okay, go ahead and start singing, punch." Okay. And here I'm doing it myself, and the punch process of my DAW just doesn't work as great as others that I've had. I used to use Pro Tools. I don't use Pro Tools anymore. I moved on to something else, and but I'm not going to say because I don't promote them or whatever. But or not promote them because I don't like the way it works. When you punch in, you can't hear the audio before.
Oh,
it's really strange. I don't know why they would even make something like that. It just makes zero sense. So in order to just avoid that, I just sing the whole line over again. So as far as punching in, I really I can't punch in.
Wow.
sing the entire line all over again. So it takes a little more time, but I think in the end it's probably better. I think it's time to move on to a new DAW. Back to Pro Tools. Back to Pro Tools, I think,
Yeah. Well, whatever rocks your boat, man. I mean, that's I guess it's ease of use. It's one of those things where, if it makes your life easier, then it's probably a better thing.
Yeah. And I've spent years of this already, so it's like I do know it very, very well. I think I've forgotten how to use Pro Tools, to be honest with you. There's a whole fucking learning curve again, which I don't really want to go through, but
yeah.
we'll see.
Man, I got to say, one of my favorite albums, and I guess back in 2022 was the A through Z album. And I know that you're not actively, promoting that album, but I was expecting dates, shows, and that obviously hasn't eventuated. Are you looking at dates now for this current project with Jim?
We're not looking at dates. We haven't really discussed going on tour. We never really, again, when we started this whole thing, it just happened so fast that, like, okay, we'll have an album come out now in 2 weeks. But we never really discussed going on the road. And I think it'd be pretty difficult because since Jim played all the instruments, I think at that point we'd have to hire an entire band to do everything. But I actually think a lot of the songs would sound really cool live with a real drummer, and maybe a whole band. Could be interesting to do that. But at the moment, there's no plans. I guess we'll see how it goes, how well it goes, or how well it doesn't.
And look, for a better word, I'm going to use the word comfort. Do you find comfort in working with the likes of Jim, and as I earlier touched on, Mark as well, with your previous project and band? Is that a safe space for you? For a better word, again, is that?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with new musicians, and I'm definitely more comfortable working with friends, people I've worked with before.
Yeah.
Mike, when I do my solo stuff, and Tony, all friends. And Craig, who plays drums on my solo stuff, is one of my best friends. So probably is my best friend in the world. We've hung out for the last 20 years. And to work with Jim again, we've worked together for 30 plus years, and we're at the point now where we're just basically family. We're completely honest with each other. If there's something we don't like, of course we'll tell one another.
Yeah.
We can be brutally honest and not hurt anyone's feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's definitely a comfort zone. I mean, there was a point where I when I did my first solo album, I thought about using different musicians, and I was going, okay, the whole album's going to be like star-studded, and I'm going to do different people. And I reached out to a few people, and it was a little uncomfortable because, maybe we weren't good friends, but I've known them from the road or met them forever. But it just ended up being a nightmare, logistically and financially. Having to pay, 14 different people it just wouldn't work out for a budget I had for my solo album. So in the end, it's just, I think, to answer your question, it's more comfortable to work with friends. Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. You last stated that you were probably at your peak vocally, and you were really, what is it? You were really comfortable with the way that you were singing, and the way that your performance was on the Figure of Speechless album, and leading up to that, I know that you'd stated that you had some issues with your vocals, or not vocals, but your throat and so forth. What's been the approach this time around on the album?
I mean, you're right. Yeah. Through the years, I've lost my high range. My falsetto is pretty much gone. But again, I'm happy with where my voice is now, because I really didn't like singing that way anymore anyway. I was young, and that was a style at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know if I'm just saying it because I can't do it, or no, honestly, no, I'm comfortable with this. I like the sound of my voice now, and I know what my range is, and I know what I can and can't do. So yeah, I like where it is now, and again, to be able to sing so quietly on the North Sea Echoes album was just a joy. It really was. I mean, I love to sing, but I really loved to sing like I do on this album, very quietly. And I would get up in the morning and walk the dog, have a cup of coffee, and start singing. I didn't even have to worry about warming up my voice because it was there. The smokier the better, I guess. So yeah. I'm happy to be able to work with what I have. Put it that way.
Not having access to burritos and copious amounts of danger food probably is a good thing, but at the same time, as you said last time, man, what's the point of living if you can't eat that shit? So yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you don't smoke cigarettes, don't drink whiskey, don't drink wine. Then what's there to live for?
Yeah, man. Yeah. How did you guys come up with the band name or the project name?
There was we had a few different ideas, and we ended up going through our notes. Jim and I have this thing where if we hear something interesting or see something interesting, we'll write it down. Maybe use it for a song title or a lyric or something. And that was just one of the things he had written down. He doesn't know where he heard it, where it came from, but he wrote it down, and that was it just seemed to fit the music. Really, it kind of fit well. The North Sea, this vast unknown of cold loneliness. I don't know. I don't want to be so dark, but it just kind of fit the music, so we went with that. Yeah.
Tell us about your relationship with Metal Blade. It's
my other family.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it's something that's sort of interwoven into, Ray's life for a while now.
Forever, man. I mean, since I was in my early 20s, I've known them. Slagle and Tracy Vera, and everyone at the office, Vince, Kelly, Heather. I know I've known everyone there for so long. We're definitely family. When I lived in LA, I was in the office all the time. Brian and I always hung out. We were great friends. Tracy is Joey Vera, our bass player, Fates Warning's wife. She's now the president of Metal Blade. So yeah, I consider them family. We've been together for so long. And it's always great to see them. So it was great to be able to be on this label again. We had talked about different labels, and we didn't know if it would be right. And once we talked to Metal Blade, we all agreed that we'll give it our best shot and see what happens. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, in closing, and I won't keep you much longer, and I know Jim would probably want to kill me asking this, but what is the future with regards to Fates? Is there anything that you can give us?
We're working on trying to get some shows together right now for the 40th anniversary kind of thing. Let's see how that goes. Everyone's so busy. Joey's in a million different bands. Bobby's he's playing with George Strait, one of the largest
country.
He's like the Taylor Swift of country music in America.
Yes, sir. Yes. So
he's really happy. And his schedule can change at any time, so it's really difficult to get Bobby away from that. But we'll see. We're trying to get on some live shows together. Not really a big tour, but probably a few shows here and there. I've never been to Australia, so I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Good stuff, man. Well, the album, look, thus far the album sounds great. The tracks sound great. I haven't been exposed to the complete album, obviously, as most people haven't. But from what I hear, it's on the mellow side. At least the two tracks that I've heard, it's a side of Ray that I haven't really been exposed to, which is, which is interesting, and it could probably cross over into other spectrums of music, I think.
It's very ambient. It's very atmospheric. It's like you've heard the 2 tracks. It's similar to that. There are some ups and downs here and there.
Yeah,
but it's definitely it's not something you want to listen to at a party. But have a nice glass of scotch and enjoy your evening with the music. I'd say, maybe
fantastic. Well, man, good luck with the album, and thank you so much for coming on the Prog Rock Digital podcast. Thank you for coming back. Hopefully I've got you back on again. And
thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for your time.